What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media. We are here. It is our post-game show, our midweek recap. Going into the bye week, Ravens are sitting at 9-3. They take down the Chargers, and what many people, including some defensive players, should say, I'm not going to name any names, should have been 13-10. But our boy Zay Flowers doesn't care about that. He cares about the fantasy teams. He cares about the people, and the people want to see touchdowns. All right. Zay Flowers takes the touchdown, and they get the victory over the Los Angeles Chargers in primetime. Joshua, what were your thoughts on that game?
Man, I think we need to talk about that first, man. Anybody that feels like that we should have just like took knees and ran the ball. For the Baltimore Ravens team, you don't do that. Any given moment, unfortunately, the Ravens can DTM and shit the bed. Do we take that chance? No, hell no. It's been many times where we done left points off the board, not taking the field goals for 3 points, or constantly going for it on fourth down and missing out. So I mean, I don't feel like we should have struggled in prime time against a team that does have talent, but also is not put together well enough in order to beat us. Shout out to the defense for constantly being at Justin Herbert's head. With about 5 turnovers. I love what they're doing. McConnell, I don't know if you've been peeping it, but EDC's been on the sideline past couple of weeks. I don't know what that indicates. I'm not going to start speculating, but maybe I'm hoping that with him being there, that gives a fire to John Harbaugh. But John Harbaugh still acts a little slow. Mike McDonald, if you ever watch TTB, don't leave, man. Don't leave. I know some people going to be reaching out to you. Some people that got fired. Don't go to Carolina. Just stay here, man. We'll make some adjustments to keep you around, brother. But I love what the defense did, man. They kept us in the game. I mean, this is the time where the run game and defense wins you championships. And I mean, that's what we did, man. They came out and showed out. I know people was like, why PQ didn't go for the sack? Hey man, he was a team player. He was a teammate. He read the read. Trying to go for the screen. We all played NCAA 14, and we all play Madden when we take the linebacker or our safety, and we try to read the screen and get the quick interception. So I mean, I love what we did. I do feel like we went away from the pass. I'm not going to say we went away from the passing game, but we went away from Odell and a little bit of Rashad as well. I kind of wonder what that was. I wish we would have kept on continuing, with the slants. And honestly, I'm ready for them to stretch the field with Zay. Treat Zay like how Tyreek Hill was treated in Kansas City and also in Miami. He is the X factor of this offense. We constantly talk about the role that he plays is very big, especially when Mark Andrews is out. Let him utilize his God-given talents and his skills all over the field, not just the trick plays and the dink and dunks. Yes, we've been making things happen, but let him stretch the field. We got the guys underneath. Rashad Bateman, Del Beckham, no, he never was a speedy guy like we've already established. But once he gets a little bit of open space, he can turn on the jet. He can hit a little move here and there and move the ball. But overall, I love what we did.
Yeah, I think this was a Ravens type of win, and I'm fine with the Ravens winning close games like this. Like, I know a lot of people are upset that we didn't beat them by more. Guys, listen, the Chargers are a good football team. They only have 4 wins, but they're in every game. Justin Herbert's a great quarterback. They have really good weapons. Their pass rush is very good. They are just hurt by having the worst coach in the NFL. And he's probably been the worst coach in the NFL outside of like Nathaniel Hackett in the 11 or 12 games that he coached. Brandon Staley sucks. Like, Brandon Staley's been known to be awful since his first year as a head coach. Like, he was like, oh, you need to get this guy out of there. And last year he blew up in the press conference, or last week he blew up in the press conference. He's like, I'm calling the defense. Like, don't ever ask me about that again. I was like, dude.
Yeah.
How about you call like your wife and kids and just be like, hey, I'm coming home and I'm not going back. Like, dude, I like Justin Herbert. Like, help him out. Like, you are not helping out this team. But I think the Ravens defense, They showed on national television once again because last week, we played on national television. The defense looked unreal, but there was a caveat, right? Joe Burrow got hurt. Okay, whatever. You play against the Chargers this week, and it was like, I mean, they were hitting people. Like they were hitting people really hard, and it was like I think the first time in a long time I've watched a defense play like that. I haven't seen that probably since like I hate to say it on the Ravens channel, guys, but like those late 2000 Steelers teams is probably the most similar in terms of play style of just
it was aggressive as hell. It was aggressive as hell. They made them feel it.
I know
every play.
I know we're all big fans of Mr. Porter, Joey Porter, Jr., not senior, but Joey Porter was going around hitting people. James Harrison was going around hitting people. Troy Polamalu was going around hitting people. I don't know how many people know about this. Ryan Clark was going around hitting people. Like that was a scary defense. This Ravens defense reminds me of that. And, they're not as good as the 2000 Ravens, but like those late 2000 Steelers where it was like, dude, you do not want to play them. And unfortunately, we had to. That's how they play. And it's scary to go up against them. They're going to hit the quarterback. They're going to get after the quarterback, and they're going to do unique things that a lot of teams aren't doing. Michael Pierce leads the NFL for defensive tackles dropping into coverage. And what I like about it is that they're doing it in situations where you're not expecting it, right? I felt like with Mike McDonald, we always knew when like guys would drop into coverage. Or not Mike McDonald, Wink Martindale, right? Because Wink Martindale would drop guys into coverage. You're like, dude, what are you doing? Because like the blitzes would never get home.
Yeah.
It's like all of a sudden it's like 3rd and 15, and you see like Brandon Williams dropping back. He's like at the sticks. You're like, dude, what the heck? It's like Mike McDonald will do it on 3rd and 4, passing situation, quick drop back, kind of be a QB spy, but stop the drag if somebody's running short across the middle. Stop that initial check down to allow for the corner, the safety to get in, get the pressure, and get the sack. That's what we saw from Arthur Millette, I believe it was, to force I think they ended up calling it a intentional grounding on Justin Herbert. And a lot of people are complaining, like, what are you supposed to do in that situation? How do you take the sack? Like, that's why the intentional grounding is there, is so that quarterbacks aren't able to just like, oh no, spike the ball. Like that's why we have intentional grounding, is to keep quarterbacks from just like avoiding sacks. Lamar Jackson he gets a lot of intentional groundings. He's probably one of the league leaders in intentional groundings, because Lamar likes to throw the ball away at the very last second as he's getting hit. A lot of times it doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage, but Lamar makes enough plays where I'm not upset when he's trying to do something at the last second. Yeah. But Joshua, it finally happened. Keaton Mitchell led running backs in snap share this week.
Man, listen. Yeah, I'm loving what Keaton's doing. He's a home run hitter in my book. I feel like he can definitely he can bring that spark and excitement. What kind of mind boggled me, some of the snaps that Keaton should have got, it was given to Justice Hill. Granted, Justice Hill, I will say this year and last year, when given the opportunity, he's learning to run north and south. He's learning how to get pad level, and he's learning how to get the field. I can't take that away from him. But you keep on, it's like a tug of war. The press constantly asks you questions. The fans wants to see more of certain players. The production level is there. But it's like y'all draw a blank all the time, especially John. When he get asked certain questions, he loves to defer things. It's like he'll do enough to please the fans, but not enough to, what's the word? Make it a convincing win. We grew up in the era, of watching featured running backs, do their dang thing. Now we even came into an era of the running back by committee. I'm not mad at that at all. But when you got a stallion, a horse like that in the stable, let that young man run. Let him run till he get tired. I mean, Kansas City used Isaiah till he's out of breath, and then they switch it up with Clyde Elaire. So I don't know. I love to see him constantly get more snaps and more reps. I feel like he's going to help us out there in the long run, especially when things are not going well with the passing game. You know, but a question I want to ask you, McConnell, when it comes to the offense, I know we talked about a balanced breakfast. We wanted a balanced offense. We are now getting that. And and granted, W's are W's, but still, as a QB, should our QB should be putting up more than 150, 200 passing yards?
I would say maybe, but at the same time, the Ravens put up 200 yards rushing. Like, as much as it's frustrating statistically, and people have been talking about most valuable player with Lamar. I think he's number 2 in the odds right now, which I was shocked by the way. Like, I love Lamar as much as any other Ravens fan. And I was like, Lamar's second. Like, Lamar's not Lamar's been obviously very good, but like statistically, Lamar's not having a great statistical season. I think he's playing great football. I think he's playing the best football of his career. But I'm surprised that like people are recognizing that. But I mean, you look at the top 2 MVP leaders right now, and it's Jalen Hurts and it's Lamar Jackson. What do? The teams run the football, and they don't throw very often. And when they do have to throw, they can be effective. Jalen Hurts can just throw it up there, and AJ Brown will come down with it. Lamar Jackson can drop back to pass, make a few guys miss, and hit Zay Flowers or Odell or Nelson Aguilar. Sometimes he catches it, sometimes he doesn't. But you know what? That's what you get with him. He can hit Devin Duvernay or Isaiah Likely. They can make some plays, but I don't need the Ravens to try and throw for 250, 300 yards a game, because I think their goal is to chew the clock. And I'm fine with these dink and dunks, and you dink and dunk to playmakers with speed. Zay Flowers, jet sweep, Zay Flowers screen, Keaton Mitchell check down. They're able to get these explosive plays without risking a lot of clock errors. Because, guys, I don't know if you guys noticed it, but there was a drive in I believe the second half where the Chargers get it and they go 3 and out, and like 30 seconds comes off the clock. And it's like, the defense has to get back on the field for them, and they're gassed. The Ravens need to protect their defense by keeping them off the field, giving them time to rest so that they can go out there and do what they do in forcing turnovers, letting Kyle Hamilton hit guys, letting Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen chase after those screen passes to guys like Austin Eckler when they both lit him up. PQ got there first. He was a little bit closer, but I was totally fine with that. And Joshua, you mentioned the free line at the quarterback. Patrick Queen was like, this is too easy. And like, you see the running backs leaking out the back, and he's like, maybe I got to go get this guy. And he's like, this isn't even a screen. He gets back after Herbert. He forces the incompletion. But like, I was fine with that play. I think it shows growth in him not playing like a, what are they? The horse have blinders on, right? Racehorse, they see the football, and he's just like, where is it? He kind of was like, wait a minute, what's going on over here? And then he's like, okay, we're good, and then gets after him. So, maybe that play was designed, for him to, just hit the quarterback no matter what. But I assume he was trying to play a little bit smart, and it ended up working when he did diagnose the screen. So this Ravens defense is absolutely the engine of this team, and Lamar Jackson and this Ravens offense, all they need to do to have success down the stretch against this brutal juggernaut schedule and into the postseason, control the clock, don't turn it over. Like, that's all they have to do. Like, they don't need to, Lamar doesn't have to throw for 400. The Ravens don't need to run for 300 yards. They just need to control the clock. They'll get the ball in good field positioning, and they're going to go out there and they're going to put up enough points. So, like, I'm totally fine with it. I like having Keaton Mitchell. I like using Gus Edwards a fair bit. I'd like to use Keaton Mitchell a little bit more, but I think we're just working him in, getting more and more carries. And I think
Yeah.
into the postseason, we'll start seeing him as the primary running back. But the same thing happened with J.K. Dobbins his rookie year. Like, if you remember, guys, I mean, J.K. Dobbins like wasn't getting the ball. And it was like, dude, this guy's explosive. Give it to him. Then he finally starts towards the end of the season getting the ball. And it was like, okay, 100-yard game, 100-yard game, 100-yard game. You're like, yeah. And then it was like injury. And you're like, oh, no, not again.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind the game management, honestly. I know we're going to be coming against some teams that can put up points quick and in a hurry. I do want to see how us as a team fare against those teams, because if we are in those moments where we got to respond quickly, because I mean, the way we're looking at it, I know they say Miami. I don't know if they beat a team yet over 500, but that's a team that can quickly score. They have nothing. They have a lot of speed. Jacksonville, shout out to Trevor Lawrence and their crew. They know how to move the ball down the field. Travis Etienne, he's a strong runner of the ball, but they know how to hit explosive plays as well. I want us. I just love this. I would just love to see the Ravens continually play up to the competition and get over those type of humps. I mean, we just like how we had the shootout that one primetime game where the infamous Lamar Jackson had to go to the bathroom game against Cleveland, and it was a shootout like that. I want to see if this team can still do that, because we're going to the playoffs. I mean, no, it's no ifs, buts about it. We're going to the playoffs. Cincinnati, they're out. So, that's one less worry, that we have to worry about. Buffalo, 9 times out of 10, will be in the playoffs. Because of how Josh Allen and company have been playing, it's so much disarray within that organization, and they don't have no continuity this year as far as that team. I'm not going to say it's going to be a cakewalk. They are going to come out there and play, but they don't fear me. Josh Allen, he's just. I'm not going to say he's not that guy, but if him and Stephon Diggs don't get on the same page, by the time playoffs come along, I feel like we're going to be okay. If we got to play against one of our AFC North rivals, it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a dogfight for the simple fact that Steelers and Cleveland do have strong, defensive ends. I don't know the severity of Myles Garrett injury, but they still going to have Zadarius Smith, and their front seven is vicious. I mean, we got to be honest about it. Still with TJ Watt with the Steelers, you always got a chance if TJ Watt is healthy on that Steelers defense. The Steelers keep them in the game. Even Jacksonville, we're going to see how they play. They're what are they, 83? And shout out to CJ Stroud and D'Amico Ryans and company. Them boys are coming. They coming along. They coming along. Yeah. I don't know if they're going to squeak in or what, but that's a team. They cooking with some hot grease, in the words of Uncle Ro, man. So it's going to be some tough. It's going to be some tough games in this year's playoffs. I'm looking forward to it. I just want to see, how do we match up with, offense to offense, and sometimes when it comes to Lamar, man, I love my QB, but I just need him. I need more checkdowns out of him. For the simple fact, our offensive line, I think our offensive line needs parking passes, the handicap parking passes, because between Morgan Moses and Ronnie Stanley, them two should be line dancers the way they be jumping outsides. Tyler Linderbaum, it was maybe Tyler Linderbaum's third time out this season getting beat the way he did, head on. But outside of that, he's been holding it down. You catch John Simpson with a hold every now and then. But, man, it seems like, once Lamar kind of runs out of the pocket or he tries to, extend the play, it's like they don't know what to do. Or they don't know, like, yo, y'all big as hell. Hold that man. Punch him. Get to him. So we got some work to do. And our O-line is definitely going – I feel like the O-line is going to be to make it or break it. Come to our playoff run. If they can shore up for our playoff run, I say Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, like, so much of the the postseason and success in all sports really is how you are meshing at the time of the postseason, right? You see it all the time. The 8 seed Miami Heat from the play-in tournament made the NBA Finals last year. The World Series was won this year by a wild card team, and I believe it was a wild card. I believe both the Rangers and the Diamondbacks were both wild cards, and they faced each other in the World Series championship. So, and when guys, we're Ravens fans. We've never won the Super Bowl after winning our division. Like, we've only gone as wild card teams. But in terms of this offense, remember we've got Todd Monken. He's new to this Ravens system. He's new to all these players. It's progressed every week. We see something new every week. We see some things that I go, let's never do that again, like Wildcat on 4th and 1. Not a fan of that one. But at least it's unique. He's testing things. He's testing things. Like Greg Roman didn't test anything. You know what Greg Roman did? Roll out to the right on 4th down. That was his play every time.
Listen, and he'll do it 4 damn times. 4 times.
Oh, yeah. At the one.
Well, let's talk about that Wildcat play. Dan McConnell. I wasn't mad at it. I was more mad at Gus. You 240. You 235, 240, whatever the case may be. We know how the media like to give you an extra 5, an extra 10, whatever.
Yeah.
You are known for being a bruiser back. My boy, why are you trying to shake to the outside like you Justice or Keaton Mitchell? Go straight ahead. Just put your shoulder down. Fight for the fight. Go right behind your center. Go right behind his behind. Like, come on now. That's so I wasn't so solely mad at that. I'm just mad like he literally had an open lane between Linderbaum and Zeitler in that 2 gap. And he goes to the outside. I'm like, dude, come on, bro. Come on. So it's like certain plays and certain, coaching decisions, like how we didn't challenge certain first downs, but then we
that's a
want to
brother of Jim moment. Moment right there. A few of them.
Hey man, I effed up not calling the first couple challenges. I'm gonna call this one right here, and then lose it.
Yeah, he was like, I just called it because I thought that's a difficult play. We actually didn't see the replay. And you're like, what? What do you mean you just threw the flag thinking? Because I watched it and I was like, maybe, but I was like, probably not. I was like, I think that was legal. I was like, that's a great play call. And he's like, yeah, we just challenged it because they challenged it. I was like, oh, maybe there was something to it. And then I watched the replay. I'm like, no, this is pretty obviously not a forward pass. And then the other ones, apparently there were some issues with the sideline communication. Like there was one where the guy the ref on the sideline like signaled first down, and so the Ravens ran up and they ran like a quick screen to Zay Flowers or something like that. And then all of a sudden they're like, nope, that was 3rd and inches, or that was 4th down. And we're like, wait a minute, what? And then it doesn't work out. So like that, I don't necessarily put on brother at Jim, but like, dude, throw a challenge flag at something that makes sense. He's so bad with the challenges. It's like, dude, if you like could win a challenge, and he's just like, he goes purely on gut feeling. He's just like dropping that thing. You're like, wait a minute, did you see the replay? He's like, nope. There's just no way they actually did that. You're like, what are you doing, John?
It's just something about brother Jim that just gets me tight, man. He really gets under my skin.
It's okay. It's Mike McDonald season. I wish.
Oh man, it's the sad thing is, a lot of people gonna be reaching out to him.
Brother of suspended Jim. I think the suspension is over.
They still playing good ball though. They still playing good ball.
They are. Shout out to Michigan, currently number 2 in the college football playoff ranking. Top 4, Georgia, Michigan, Washington,
yes, sir,
and FSU. FSU needs to make it, guys. FSU, well, first they got to beat Louisville, but they should do that, and then
Is that the team we're rooting for in our top four?
I mean, like, I don't want Georgia to win. I would like Florida State to win. That's the team Washington and Florida State have been my two favorite teams to watch all year. I always like Michigan. I love the Big Ten. So, like, I'm definitely going to root for Michigan. If they're playing Georgia, like, I like Michigan. I'd be totally fine if Michigan wins. Yeah. I like rooting for the Big Ten. I love watching Michael Penix and Romo Dunze. And then I also love watching Keon Coleman in Florida State and some of those defensive guys they got over there, because that's a fun team to watch. I made a video after week 1 saying Florida State is the team to beat in college football, and they're going to go all the way. And they've got a shot, guys. They've got a shot.
There's a lot of running backs out of this top 4 that could possibly be a replacement too. I'm just saying. Oh, yeah. Shout out to Mr. Trey Henderson, Blake Corum. Those just to name a few.
Yeah, and then Notre Dame has a really good running back, big body. If we needed to replace Gus, could definitely snag him in the 3rd, 4th round.
A lot of guys have mentioned a lot of guys have mentioned the running back from the Razorbacks. I don't know his name, but
he's a speedy guy. Okay. But we've got our speed guy. We've got Keaton Mitchell. I think. I'm fine with not getting a running back in the draft unless we lose Gus, and then I'd want a bigger back in the later rounds. But I'm not all in on drafting a guy. Would you rather get Keon Coleman and trade up, or stay back in the bottom 25 and take Xavier Worthy? I would go with Keon Coleman. They're very different players. Xavier Worthy's kind of his best comp is Hollywood Brown in college. I think Xavier Worthy's a little bit more polished than Hollywood as a receiver, but Hollywood's skill set was tracking. Like, he could track a deep ball as good as anybody. And he still can better than anybody. Sometimes he's got to work on the butterfingers, but like, he can track it. Like, he knows exactly how to position his body to be in that spot in the end zone or next to a defender. That's a very difficult skill. That's one of the things that made Antonio Brown so great, was his tracking ability. I don't know if Xavier Worthy really has that. I got to watch more film on him, but I have watched a fair amount of Texas games, and Xavier Worthy's a beast. But we have Zay, like, we have an undersized, shifty speed guy.
We need an outside guy.
We need an outside guy like a Keon Coleman that, hey, we need to get a first down on 3rd and 18. Let's just throw it up to Keon Coleman, because that guy's coming down with it. Keon Coleman is a beast.
If we can't get Keon, I'm going either Torrey Horton out of Colorado State. He's still been playing good ball continuously, or Malik Neighbors.
Ooh, Neighbors is nice too. His quarterback should win the Heisman. I'm saying that as well. I'm a Jaden Daniels guy for Heisman.
You know what? I didn't really like him, but I'll take him. I know people want to get me for this. He's played better ball to me than Mr. Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson was more hyped up, honestly. And Jaden has proved himself. I'm going to be real.
I think, like, as like a college player, I think Jaden Daniels has definitely surpassed Anthony Richardson. I mean, Jaden Daniels' numbers are ridiculous this year.
I think Jaden beat him last year before he got drafted. I
think so. I think you're right. I think Florida did lose to LSU last year. LSU was good. Like, LSU was I think number 5 to start the season, or number 3. Yeah. And then Florida State came in and beat them at a neutral site. I think they played in Atlanta or something like that. Huge game. Shout out to Jordan Travis and Keon Coleman. That was the debut game for those guys. What's your opinion on Kalen King out of Penn State? Is that the corner on? I have not. I've watched like one Penn State game. I think I watched them versus Ohio State. No, I watched them against Michigan.
He's a corner.
Yeah, I don't know much about him.
Yeah, me neither. The only thing I know about Penn State is they got another Saquon Barkley, and that boy is a monster without the injuries.
Current odds to win the championship, dude. I mean, I don't think Washington's gonna win, but it's kind of weird that Washington is just not even in the top 4. or 5. Like, what? Washington's undefeated and has beaten Oregon, and everybody loves Oregon so much. Guys, Oregon has a worse strength of schedule than Ohio State. And Ohio State lost to Michigan. I don't know. I think Oregon is way overhyped. I think they're a really good team. I think they're a top 8 team, but I think this is exactly why we have the 12-team playoff, because there should be 8 teams in the college football playoff.
I'm glad this is the last year for that, man. For the 4 teams, because this is it's so sticklers, and NCAA has a way of screwing things up too.
Yeah. It's just so frustrating when I was in this situation. I fully believe that Stanford should have made the college football playoff in 2015. I believe it was. I felt like they were a 1-loss team, and people said that Stanford's strength of schedule wasn't good enough. They hadn't played a good defense. It's also why McCaffrey didn't win the Heisman.
Mm-hmm.
So they put him in, I believe, the Rose Bowl it was against Iowa, who was the number 1 defense in the country, and Stanford beat the shit out of them. It was McCaffrey had 180 yards in the first half and 3 touchdowns. It was okay. And Stanford won, but Stanford called a fumble Rooski in a New Year's 6 bowl game. Stanford called a fumble Rooski up 28 points. They were just messing around with him. Stanford was ranked 6th going into the game. They finished the year ranked 5th, and it was that was the best Stanford team of all time.
Yeah.
But I've never been in a situation, but I also at the same time I understood. I was they did lose a game, whatever. I understand. But for a team like Ohio State, who lost to probably the best team in the country, because when Stanford lost, they lost to Utah or Washington State. They weren't good.
Yeah.
But it was Ohio State lost to the best team in the country, if not the best, the second best team in the country in Michigan. And they're dropped farther than they're dropped behind Oregon. And you're what? How are they behind Oregon?
Yeah.
Oregon lost to Washington, who's clearly worse than Michigan. And Oregon's had 1 top 25 win all year of current top 25 teams. They beat Oregon State. I think that's the only top 25 team that they beat.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just
that's a great question.
Wrong silent. Justin Matabike is predicted a 5-year, $90 million contract. Yes.
I don't see no problem with that.
Matabike. Not a beast.
It's our first since 2017. So what is this? 6 years since we had an interior D lineman get 10+ sacks.
Since we've had anybody get 10+ sacks.
The last one is interior. I think Sizzle in 17, and I think Trevor Price had 10+.
Yeah.
Sheesh. That's a long time.
Let's think about it, Joshua. Obviously, you can't keep everybody.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at the Ravens roster and you're looking at the young players, who are the players that are must keep no matter what? Or just looking at any player. Who are the must keep players for the Baltimore Ravens for the core of this roster?
I said him in the beginning PQ. I'll franchise tag PQ. I'll pay him that money for that 1 year and work that deal out. Honestly, I'm not letting him walk.
I think my must keeps outside of the guys that we've already paid. So outside of Roquan, Lamar, the obvious ones, I'm saying Matabike and Kyle Hamilton. I think on defense, those are my 2 guys. Must keep no matter what. I love Brandon Stevens. I love BS ball skills. Brandon Stevens.
Yeah.
I think we probably will keep him when it comes time, because as much as I want him to make the Pro Bowl this year, because he's probably been a Pro Bowl caliber corner.
He's been playing good ball.
He's probably not getting the votes, guys, unfortunately. But and then on offense, I'd probably say Linderbaum and probably Zay.
Yeah.
But I'd also like to keep Bateman, but I don't think of Bateman as a core piece. I think of him as a solid in the NBA. We'd call him a role player.
Bateman would have to take a big ass step from the end of this season all the way to the playoff push. Like he has to make his voice known, and even to the next year as well. How do we feel about Adafi? Is he on the is he teeter tottering on that fence for us?
I just don't think. Like, here's the thing. I think you only pay one pass rusher. And I think Madubuike is the guy that I would want to pay. And I think I'm a huge Adafe. I'm a bigger Adafe fan than most people. I'm waiting for him to take that next step. We still have that 5th-year option, so it's not out of the realm of possibility or anything like that. We got 2 more years of Adafe potentially. So I'm waiting to see how he improves. But I think with him, it could be a situation where he ends up walking because he does develop into at least maybe not a superstar pass rusher, but like into a good pass rusher, an 8-9 sack guy.
Yeah.
But I think 8-9 sack players, he'll get overpaid somewhere else. And I would rather have Madubuike, who is one of the best. I mean, he's a top 3 interior defensive lineman in the NFL. I mean, you look at it, it's Aaron Donald, it's Chris Jones, and now it's Justin Madubuike. Like, those are the top 3. I don't know if you can argue anybody else. I don't think Fletcher Cox is the same guy he was. Jordan Davis isn't in that tier. I can't even think of anybody like Cam Hayward isn't up there yet. It isn't up there anymore.
Yeah.
There's really nobody on the interior that plays like them and is able to get pressure. Like that's it. It's very rare. And the Ravens have David Ojabo. And they're able to find, because of this defense that we call, they're able to find these veteran guys where it's like, dude, Kyle Van Noy comes in and he's a 7-sack guy for the Baltimore Ravens. Jadeveon Clowney, 7-sack guy for the Baltimore Ravens. Like I'm fine with that, paying veterans, because you can get them.
Did we bring back Jadeveon after this year?
They might get a lot of money. I'd like to bring back Jadeveon. I'd like to bring him back on another 1-year deal. But I think, like, here's the thing. Like, pass rushers are like, you pay them really cheap when they're rookies or on their rookie deal. And then you get massive, like, $15, $20 million contracts. And then after that contract, if they're not, a 15-sack guy, it's like, all right, you're paying him $4 million a year, like Jadeveon Clowney, Kyle Van Noy, Justin Houston, Jason Pierre-Paul. And they're able to produce as a collective unit. And I think that's what the Ravens have been really good at doing the last couple of years, is just getting those vets to come in and they tell them, they're like, dude, you're going to get sacks. Like, you're going to play. And I think any veteran pass rusher is going to look at the Baltimore Ravens and be like, man, like, they've done it. Like, JPP was good. Justin Houston was good. Kyle Van Noy came in and was good. Jadeveon Clowney came in and was good. Like, how easy is this Mike McDonald defense to play in? Which is why we need to keep Mike McDonald.
Yeah. He got a hell of a system for everybody to eat. And it's not, and when you look at the system, it's not eliminating guys from their skill nor talent. Everybody has a chance to shine and flourish, honestly. So I don't know. I don't know if Jadeveon is going to get big money. Because a lot of people not going to run on a style of system where, he just come in for a couple snaps, get on out, but when he gets in, he's very effective. I feel like teams are going to expect him to be like Jadeveon Clowney when he was younger. No, that's not that same guy anymore. He's going to be benefiting off a strong interior D line, schemed up blitzes, things of that nature, things of that nature. So I mean, if he's willing to take another veteran friendly type of deal, I do see him possibly coming back to Baltimore.
Yeah, I think Jadeveon Clowney's in a situation in his career where I think he's trying to win. And so I think the Ravens is definitely a good spot for anybody trying to do that right now. Any veterans that want to try and get a Super Bowl, this is a good spot.
No, for sure. Everybody's asking about Ronnie Stanley. I guess we got to answer that question. McConnell, how are you feeling about Ronnie? Do we make the move to cut him? Do we restructure contract? do we possibly get a surprising retirement if we make it to the Super Bowl?
I think we restructure. I doubt we let Ronnie go, but I think we got it at least day 2. We got to get an offensive tackle in the draft. This is a great tackle draft. I mean, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I think the best option for the Ravens in the first round this year, barring any, really good player slides like a Keon Coleman or something like that, go tackle in the first round. Get yourself a left tackle. As awful from a fan's perspective as that is,
it's not a sexy pick, of course not.
Sometimes it's the right pick. Yeah. Exhibit Ronnie Stanley when we drafted him in the first round. It was like, who did we want? We want Ezekiel Elliott. We want Jalen Ramsey. Both of them go right before the Ravens. It's like, man, we got this tackle. And he was like the best left tackle in the league for 4 years or 5 years. And then he gets hurt. You're like, oh, darn. And he's come back and he's, we're going to see how he does down the stretch. Remember, he's coming off of an injury. How's he going to perform? We don't know. Wrong Simonest is Rome Odunze a top 15 pick? I think so. He's an absolute monster. Him and Michael Penix is one of the best wide receiver quarterback duos I've ever seen in college football. Like, I mean, I don't think it's on the level of Burrow to Chase, but it's like just a step behind that.
Yeah,
I think it's on the same level as like Stroud to Marvin was. Like, that's how dominant they are. It's like, dude, this is nice.
Like, no, for sure, man. So I mean, when it comes to this year's draft, I mean, the bad thing about it is the Ravens are playing good ball for the past couple of years, and we love to see them play good ball within the season. It's the only thing is the downside of it is we pick low in the draft, and hopefully we have 32. Like, I'm not even gonna be bad. Like, I feel like if the Ravens win a Super Bowl with everything that's been going on, that's been swirling around this team, it will shut up a lot of doubters and haters, which I feel like this will be the biggest statement of Lamar Jackson's career. Like, I'm tired of people, when I have personal conversations, oh, no running quarterback has won the Super Bowl. Hey, my guys, have y'all checked the history books? I think a guy from Brigham Young, he was a quote unquote running QB. He won the Super Bowl, and he also won Super Bowl MVP. Go check out the stat facts, man. Like, what do y'all expect quarterbacks to do? Just stand in the pocket and just get hit all day? No. Some of them know how to elude the pressure and get positive yards. I mean, I'm sorry that's a part of this game, but I'm not sorry.
Yeah, I think the running quarterback thing is pretty funny because it's like, dude, there hasn't been very many running quarterbacks because they weren't allowed to run. And now they're allowed to run. They're protected, and they're dominating the NFL. The 2 top seeds in the NFL are the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts, and the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson. And then you look at like Patrick Mahomes, like, dude, man, Patrick Mahomes runs. He's a scrambler. He's a gunslinger, but he's a scrambler. Like, he's going to run around. Russell Wilson, a guy that, Russell Wilson has 5,000 career rushing yards. Like, Russell Wilson's Steve Young was an all-time great running quarterback. But, like, people are like, oh, no, not like Lamar. And it's like, just because Lamar's better at running doesn't mean that all of a sudden he's in a new tier of running quarterbacks. It's like, dude, there have been mobile quarterbacks since the dawn of the quarterback position. Like, actually, originally, quarterbacks did run. If you were a quarterback that threw the ball, everyone was like,
gosh. Who was the offense? Was it the not the wing T? It was like the wishbone that they used to run with the leather hats.
Oh yeah, like, and it was like quarterback snaps. Like, there wasn't necessarily a quarterback. It was like a different guy just gets snapped the ball and he tries to run, and then every once in a while they like jump up and they like 2-handed basketball pass it to someone, and it was like, oh yeah, it's like that's what the quarterback position was originally. Like, let's not act like running with the ball in your hands is something new. Like, dude, we saw Rodgers do it. We saw young Peyton Manning try to do it. We saw Favre try and do it. John Elway's most iconic play of his career is a rush. Like, it's called the helicopter. Like, why are we acting like having a quarterback run the football is a negative thing? And I think one of the negatives, unfortunately, is the downfall of Cam Newton due to just like repetitive shoulder injuries, and he lost all of his arm strength, and people only remember old Cam Newton. It's like, dude, Cam Newton in his prime was unstoppable. Like, Jalen Hurts just passed him for rushing touchdowns as a quarterback. Don't ever compare Jalen Hurts and Cam Newton as a rusher ever again, because Cam Newton was jumping through people for touchdowns. Jalen Hurts is being dragged by Jason Kelce into the end zone.
No, seriously, man.
Yeah, Randall Cunningham, that's a great one. Cunningham, Vic, Warren Moon wasn't much of a rusher.
Culpepper was a runner.
Culpepper could run.
Even like, Drew Brees had a little bit of run to his game.
Drew Brees would run. Like Cordell Stewart would run.
Oh man, don't get me started on him.
Yep, Steve Young.
Yep.
Don't worry, boys. We're safe. Don't worry. Number 7. We ain't got no 3s in here. Don't worry.
Listen, man. That's a whole nother conversation, a whole nother day, man. I don't know where Josh get he from. He's from another country.
He's from Australia.
Yeah, some things may still, go down the way they go down out there in Australia.
Go down south.
So yeah. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right at all. I have a child of my own. If she came home, but if you feel me, 13-year-old man, somebody's going to jail, and it ain't gonna be me, baby. I'm gonna just be real. So yeah.
Oh man. With Lamar, Keaton, and Zaire returning into the Greatest Show on Turf Part 2. No, I think the Greatest Show was a little different. I mean, like Marshall Faulk. Also, they had 2 great wide receivers. They had Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt. Also, their running back was Marshall Faulk, who's like probably, in my opinion, is borderline top 5 running back of all time. Definitely top 8. Yeah, no offense to Keaton Mitchell, but he's no Marshall Faulk, guys. No offense.
Marshall Faulk top 10 for me, man. I ain't gonna lie.
And then they had Kurt Warner. Lamar's got Kurt Warner, though. I'll say that. We got Kurt Warner beat. We got to get the receivers up.
It's a working process. It's a working process for sure.
Don't worry. When we get Odunze, we're not getting Odunze. He's going top 15. He might go top 10. When we get Keon Coleman or something like that, then we can start talking. We got to come up with a nickname, though, for this Ravens team. The thing is, I think the defense is the one that's going to get the nickname. Like,
no, they got
the 2000s Ravens defense. What was the nickname? It's the.
Oh man, don't get me telling the story. That was a hell of a defense.
It's the name of the 30 for 30. Monster? No. Bullies of Baltimore.
Yeah.
We need a nickname. We need a nickname for Rowe and Kyle Hamilton, and because we've seen
we got a lot of Southern boys on the team.
We do. McNabb, yeah.
McNabb I think was a runner. He had some great wide receivers too. And he had one of the best running backs.
Yeah. Brian McNabb had a good. Also, he was coached by Andy Reid.
Brian Westbrook and Deuce Staley was a hell of a tandem.
Yeah, and he's just throwing to Terrell Owens.
Yeah. Kyle is Spider-Man. Kyle do be everywhere. He is your neighborhood friendly Spider-Man. Like that frame and his athletic ability it makes up for a lot. It makes up for a lot, and he just plays good ball.
Joshua. EJ Smith is entering the transfer portal. We're gonna find out where he goes.
It ain't gonna be Buff Nation, so I don't care.
Yeah, probably not. Not gonna lie, I was disappointed in the season that EJ Smith had. I had some high hopes.
Me too. Listen, that was my other running back.
That was the guy. I know we were talking about him or Blake Corum. Blake Corum panned out this year. Blake Corum was a beast.
I'm happy for Blake, man. I'm happy for Blake. I ain't got no argument for him.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you all so much for coming through, talking Ravens, talking football. Bye week this week. So we're gonna find out. We're maybe gonna do a stream or something like that. I'll definitely get some videos out this week. Which will be exciting. I haven't made a video in a minute, guys, so I apologize for that. But it should be a lot of fun. Make sure to watch some good football this weekend. And stay safe out there. Joshua, you got anything else you wanna wrap up with?
Man, I mean, it's Tuesday, y'all. We get into the week. This should be a stress-free week. We done won. We on a bye. Don't watch nobody else play no ball. Don't watch nobody else play no ball. We don't care. We up. And enjoy your week, man. Enjoy yourselves, man. Thank y'all for always coming through the stream, man. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, comment, tell your best friend and everybody else that, Trust the Bank is still going strong. And we thank y'all for always coming through. Y'all have a good one, man.
Yeah, thank y'all so much. We'll see y'all again next time.